Let's hear from the coach. This is Behind the Beard with Bobby Smirniotis, Forge FC head coach and sporting director. Now, the woman who takes us there, here's Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Okay, week 20.
Week 20.
Yes.
Milestone.
Woo!
Do we remember what we've done the past 20 weeks?
I have memory loss, I feel like, from a lot of it.
Beards,
Beards,
math,
math.
signatures.
Wow, this is awesome. Okay, because at the end of the episode, I was going to try and think about some of the highlights. It's all up there, and I said to Corey, I was like, God, I hope he remembers what's happened in the past couple of weeks.
I remember everything.
I got you something.
Oh, a gift.
A gift for week 20.
I don't know it's Christmas. You've mastered my signature.
Yes. I wrote you 100 signature cards to give away. Fresh from the grocery store.
But what's going to happen after I make you one coffee?
Oh, you have to use this on me for my coffees.
Yeah, that's what I mean. After one coffee, we're going to need more milk.
Yeah, okay. I just figured, since I already used an entire carton of milk, I should probably buy you
Corey,
one.
any capsules left in that box next to you?
I see one.
There we go.
Let's
How many do we
go.
have in there? It's your lucky day. Your lucky day.
One capsule
go.
for 1 2-liter carton of milk.
Mackenzie's lattes.
Listen, I went to the grocery store
Why 1%?
yesterday. I didn't know what to get.
Yeah.
I was actually stressed
I'm
about
not
it.
saying it's wrong, but just curious.
What do you normally drink?
With hot coffees, 2%. With cold coffees, skim.
Shoot! Oh my God!
Surprisingly,
Right in
skim milk
between.
makes better foam, cold foam.
Really?
Yeah.
That is surprising, actually.
Yes.
Huh. Yeah, no, I thought...
I think the Greeks invented that.
Actually?
Cold foam.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you ever had a Freddo espresso?
Freddo espresso? No.
No?
But I'll go to Greece and try one.
There we go. We have to make sure this
But
episode
nice.
finishes soon. Huh?
Yeah.
Have some warm milk.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like you need to put it in the fridge. It's fine. You can have it later. Happy 20th episode.
Thank you for my 1% partly skim milk.
Okay, we'll get to the highlights later on because I'm not done with that conversation.
Was that for the end of the show or the beginning?
I just thought I'd open it up with the milk.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll talk about this past weekend. I also wanted to get your opinion on a few things that I talked about the commissioner with because we did a Q&A before the matchup against Pacific, and then like I said, we gotta talk BTB highlights at the end. So, Behind the Beard.
You saw me
You
do
got
that, right?
that?
Sounds like a boys band.
Yeah, I think it's actually the short form is better than the Behind the Beard.
Okay.
BTB. Let's look back to Saturday because of course, especially with the first half panning out the way that it did, you needed to make adjustments on the fly. Was not a lot of continuity is the word I'm looking for there. So from a coaching standpoint, can you just touch on those adjustments that you had to make and how you were able to contribute to helping the team kind of find the rhythm again, get back into the flow of things?
Yeah, I think first and foremost you see the play with Malcolm and Luke from the opponents, and the first thing you think about is not what am I doing with my team, just making sure that the players are safe and healthy, and then you realize you're gonna have some time to figure it out there. So that's the first thing is just making sure that everyone is calm, the player is good, that then your team is calm about it, and then we had a few options to make in there and try and keep the same, let's say, look to the team and not change things up too much. And that was the idea. There was, at that point, you think of different things of changing a little bit, your formations, your zonal occupancy of players. But we decided to keep it similar and get Abu into, a position that he hasn't played since early last year. To get in there. And, we go along and there you go in the second half. We have another situation with Tristan Henry, and Kalongo is an excellent goalkeeper, player that trains, and it's always tough. He's a player that's played one game this year, but he's excellent in training, and he's ready to go in and do a job, and he did a fantastic job getting into that game on Saturday.
Yeah, that was actually something else I was going to ask you about today, too, in terms of the changing formations, players out of position. Last week we talked about how it's not impossible to change formations during the game from the sideline. It's just purely situational. So we kind of saw you make those adjustments there. But what can you take away after seeing the players make those adjustments, like Abu, who obviously hadn't been in that position in a long time too?
Yeah, I think it's always encouraging, as a coach when you move things around, and we're a little bit thin in the back in the last game. Obviously, with Malcolm going out, not having Garvin, not having Dom as well. So it's encouraging as you look forward and knowing that you've got the options to do different things with the players, and they have that comfortability. And that comfortability comes from the quality of play, but it also comes from the result. When you have a positive result, the players feel a lot better of what they've done on the field, and a lot more comfortable sometimes when they're out of their comfort zone.
True.
So I think that helps us going into this final stretch, and it gives us another tool for us as we get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's something that Rama spoke about. That's just like a little extra confidence boost, being able to adapt on the fly there. Obviously, he's coming off his first goal too, so he's feeling good. He was actually telling me about how he was playing FIFA with his friends during the day, and they were saying, "Oh, Rama, you're gonna score today," and then he talked about it all day. And then there you go.
There you go. We need him to play FIFA
every
every day before a game and talk about scoring goals.
With those two friends.
Yes.
Alex said, Alex was in on that conversation too. He said it came from the Greek gods. So.
There you go.
Yeah. But something else you mentioned in the press conference afterwards was how you could see the tension rising throughout the game, both sides realizing what exactly was on the line there. Can you give us a little glimpse into halftime and what the conversation was, and reassuring the team that what it meant?
Yeah, I think what we talked about, because we kind of had two half times. One when we came in for the injury, and then the actual halftime was just reassure the players that we're doing a lot of good things on the pitch. A lot of stuff we talked about. Our movement was very good on the ball and off the ball. Our defensive pressure was good, something that hasn't been its best in the last while, and that was something that was also very good coming out of that game, and just reassuring the guys that that's what we need to keep up with, and knowing that what we talked about before the game, this is a game that we just cannot lose. So we have to have that mentality going into it, and we have an opponent on the other side that has the same mentality. And literally this was kind of that playoff atmosphere type of game a few weeks before the playoffs. And I think we've got a great group when it comes to those games. They really understand the importance. They really understand where risk is taken on the field and where it's not, and because that becomes very important, because it's all about particulars. You look at the first 5 minutes of the game and there's 2 goals, and we didn't want to be scored on in the third minute, and they didn't want to be scored on in minute number 5. But that's football, because it comes down to these little things, and I think concentration was lacking in those first 5 minutes, maybe for both teams, and that ramped up right after that.
Yeah, that's what Alex said too, and getting that motivation from you guys as a coaching staff, but also the importance of it from coming within. He talked about how you have to know what's on the line, like within yourself, kind of thing. So that was interesting to hear from him. But I also want to talk about Kwesi, because he came away as the man of the match, but also CPL Player of the Week. You talked about how well he was reading the defenders, getting into the back and also crossing it into the back post there. So can you elaborate a little bit more on how he contributes to the team in a build-up and creating those opportunities? Because, like you said, he was off for a couple weeks there with a few knocks, and his absence was definitely recognized.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at it, his game before the suspension and his game after his suspension. There were 2 very good games where he was very important to the team, and he was creating for us, and that was the game against Vancouver, out in Vancouver, where we've won 3-0, and this game here. And then we've missed him for 2 games in between in 2 crucial games. He gives us a different dimension in the way he plays. His technical ability and how good he is on the ball is one thing, and then his athleticism is another. He's able to break down opponents very quickly, and then he can do the job defensively as well in a role where he was playing on Saturday, where he had to do a little bit of both, but we really wanted him to provide us that width, that 1v1 situations, and then he's got an excellent pass into the box, and we saw that on 2 goals.
Yeah. Is he the fastest on the team? Do we know that? Have we ever raced any of these guys? Because I think Woobs told me he was the fastest at one point.
Yes. Who will give him a race is Tristan Henry.
Really?
That is correct.
Tristan Henry?
Tristan Henry.
Really?
Tristan Henry may have clocked the fastest speed in speed trials, as we call them this year, in preseason and early in the season.
Okay, Corey, you agree there? You've seen it? Why do you say that?
I heard from Liam that he was one of the fastest
Here's the thing. At training a couple weeks ago, I saw G and I think it was Manny race, and G just like gave up after like 20 meters.
I think you need to call a challenge.
Okay, so who we got in the top 3? G.
Tristan Henry, Kwesi Poku, Manjikar James.
Okay, so Manny's up there.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, obviously, I guess. I don't know why I said that. But you know what I mean? Like, obviously, him losing to Manny doesn't mean he's slow. It just means he's very fast. And he's also racing against one of the faster players.
Tristan Henry.
Okay,
Very
my
quick.
bad, G. Holy, I didn't mean to underestimate
Got
you
quick
there.
to get back into his goal for that excellent save on
Oh,
Saturday.
true.
Need
You're
some-
like, did you watch the game?
Need some quick footwork.
Wow, that's humbling there. Okay, nice question, Mac. Okay, what was I going to talk about? Commissioner, look at you. Wow. Okay, let's talk about that because what were you gonna say something there?
No.
Your facial expression kind of.
No, I'm just keeping you
said-
in the segment here.
So yeah, I had this Q&A. It was great. A couple Forge fans came out before the game started, and a big topic of conversation was the expansion of the league, some U21 minutes, that rule, and just the success of it overall over these past couple years. And they asked him where he sees the league in 5 to 10 years. So I wanted to bring that question to you and get your opinion.
With more teams, I think that's for sure. I think if you look 5 years out, maybe we're a 12-team league. Maybe 10 years out we're 16, but I think anywhere between 12 and 14, this is a very healthy league when we look long term, and just an increased rise in sporting dollars coming into the sport of soccer.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. We can talk about the players because the players will always be there and everything. I think
Right.
there'll just be a general bigger investment in the sport, and once that comes along, I think what we've had is the biggest participation sport in the country. Teams playing or national teams playing at the World Cup, both the men's and the women's. Currently 11 professional clubs. At some point that's going to become close to 20 professional clubs. I think the ecosystem of soccer will be massive to a point where maybe we are the number one professional sport in this country. And I know that sounds crazy, being a hockey country and growing up that way, but if you ask me 10 years from now, we may be getting close.
Well, you see the fan engagement too. And I think what's interesting to see, and just inviting like my friends, for example, to come out to games, it just takes one game for them to come to, and then they want to come back. They keep asking me for tickets and stuff like that. So from that perspective, what do you think needs to happen to kind of increase that level of interest in Canadian soccer and show the people the quality that we have at the local level?
Yeah, you make a great point there, because I think anyone who's come to Tim Hortons Field has had a great time. It's a one consistent message I've had since year one, where I run into people, hey coach, we're at the game on the weekend, what an excellent game, what an entertaining game, we had a great time. Maybe they're not telling me that they're not having a great time, but it's been the constant thing that we've heard, that everyone loves the experience, loves the atmosphere, and I think that just becomes contagious over time. And I think as the league has a little bit more media presence and all of these things that come along as we're getting closer to 2026. I know it sounds like it's far away, but it's not.
It's creeping up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost 24.
Yeah, which
right?
That's weird.
So we're getting close, and that's going to bring a lot of eyes to this country. It's going to bring a lot of exposure to the game and what's going on here at the professional levels, at the local levels. And I think as you do more of that, I think the stature of the game just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And today we have 6,000 to 7,000 at Tim Hortons Field. I think within 5 years, we're over 10,000.
Yeah.
And once you do that, then everyone wants to be here.
Yeah, it is contagious, like you said. It's kind of inevitable too, especially with 2026 approaching. Something else I talked about with Woobs today, though, was the Halifax Stadium, because they're looking potentially to build another stadium, a permanent one. And, they've also got around 6,000 fans coming out. But because their stadium is a little bit smaller, it feels like it's overflowing almost. So anyways, that's an exciting thing that could potentially happen. I honestly think.
Yeah, I think it's been great. Like if you look across the league this year, attendance is up.
Yeah.
In most of the markets, and it's been fantastic. It's something you need, because every incremental increase leads to a bigger increase the following year, right? And that's what we want to see here. I think our group here has done a great job at getting the crowds out here at Tim Hortons Field for our home games, and we hope that next year's starting point is plus
Where we left
10%,
off.
plus 15%
Yeah.
of where we leave off this year. And if we can do that over the next few years, then we're easily at 10 to 12,000. And remember, you know, in the sport of soccer, sometimes we look at the biggest stage, the Premier League, La Liga, and all these places where their averages may be in the 30 to 40,000s. You know, taking away some of the bigger stadiums. You know, if we're at a situation where, you know, teams are drawing 6 to 12,000 a game, I think we're in a fantastic spot.
Yeah. I gotta write that earlier one down. The incremental increases lead to one big increase. The fall. Oh, it was good. It was poetic, really.
You're gonna take some notes.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna watch that one back and write it down. But yeah, it's an exciting time. It'll be cool.
It is.
Okay, top 3 behind the beard moments to close it out. Let's go. I have mine locked in. I've been ready for this. I was ready yesterday when we were in your office ready to film.
Where was I?
I don't know. It was our fault. We didn't tell you. Me and Corey were just like,
I was just trying to figure out why my door was open
yeah, it was
when I got here.
Oh, was it actually open?
Yeah.
Oh.
Jelani told
Our
me
bad.
you guys were parked in here for a while.
Jelani didn't even come see us. And he knew that we were here. That's crazy.
All right.
Anyways.
Top 3 moments.
We'll
You go
compare. Sure. Okay, yeah. Okay, my perspective might be a little bit different than your perspective, though, you know?
Okay.
Third place goes to Jelani. I know I was roasting him, but I got to give him credit for the validity of the beard bit because that truly made me laugh. And it got the wheels turning in my head because I'm still questioning it a little bit. I don't want to. You're like, do you want to feel it?
It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's a bad rumor. Such a bad rumor that was running around the stadium.
Horrible, really. Right? I don't know who would believe it.
From my right-hand man.
Yeah, you'd think. Anyways, that's my third place. I thought that was funny. Second place goes to the signature bit for me. That was a classic. I really do feel like my signature improved. I just signed something the other day, and I was like,
no,
dang.
it didn't improve.
What?
You created one.
Oh, yeah.
Before you were doing a spelling test.
That's crazy. That's just rude. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's not necessarily an improvement, more so just the
You were
creative.
just writing letters.
That is not true. I was actually doing cursive letters. Oh yeah, okay, because now it's like a scribble.
There you go.
It's a signature.
See?
Yes.
When you think about it, it makes sense. So sometimes my players say, you know, at first they're like, what's he talking
What
about?
is he saying?
And he's like,
Wait, think about it.
think about
It
it.
makes sense.
Coach has got it.
Okay, first place, Bobby's age calculation on the spot. Now listen, I know what you're
You
thinking.
beat my top one.
Really?
Of course.
Okay. It's funny because you're probably like, Mac, you literally got embarrassed in that moment. That was humbling. And it really was. I don't think I've laughed that hard in an interview ever. It takes number one. Nothing beats that. Because listen.
It's the day we figured out I'm 31 years old.
Listen, there is one part of the interview where you say, like, the age you were born or the year you were born, and then you look at Corey and like do like the eyebrow raise. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you really have to. Like, you're missing out if you're not watching.
Should see what my kids go through at home.
These?
It's not what they watch, but it's, you know, that little interaction I have
Yes.
with them.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
the
yeah,
answer's
yeah.
always in there,
Yeah.
but I'm usually talking
And
a lot.
this is the thing. I never catch it until I watch it back. And I just feel like such an idiot.
So for me, that was number one.
Okay.
Number one.
Why? Just because you put me on the spot and
I
you
think it
can
was
see
just
the
great.
stress?
It was just great.
The stress in my eyes.
2, the beard.
Oh, when I put on
When
the
you
beard.
put on the beard?
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
good one.
put
I
on the
forgot
beard.
about that. Okay, yeah.
And I think 3 overall, what I've enjoyed the most is making sure I'm keeping you on script. Sometimes you forget. Sometimes sometimes I'm the host. I think I've enjoyed that.
Today was a perfect example. The
Maybe
commissioner.
episode 21.
Q&A, the commissioner.
I sit there. You sit here.
I'm going to hold you to it this
Nah,
time.
maybe not 21. We're getting
Stop
close.
doing this.
We're getting
It's
close
such
to the
a tease.
playoffs.
You do this every time. One
No?
day.
But I've
The
really
last-
enjoyed that.
The last episode, I might shed a tear. I'm not kidding. I don't know what to do. I buy you 5 cartons of milk?
What do you mean last episode?
The
There's no last episode.
There is no... What do you mean?
You haven't seen your contract? They're just doing this forever.
Oh,
We just got to keep the count going.
no.
Whether I'm here, you're here, we're not here.
Jelani's here.
We'll find the camera.
True, every Wednesday.
What happens if the beard goes?
Oh God, I don't know. I've already said I don't like this conversation.
maybe it's not here next week, then what do we do?
Wow, I'm quitting. You thought my contract was forever? Ends week 21. We'll see you then, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the latte that we're about to make.
2
Cheers.
liters of milk and a shot of
Cheers.
espresso.
This has been Behind the Beard with Mackenzie Barwell and Bobby Smyrniotis. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.